Hello and welcome to the Combat Exchange podcast. I'm your host, Dan Saunders from Last Round. Joining me are my co-hosts from Kotys Kombat, Phoebe and Becca. How are you doing, both of you?
Hello. Very good, thank you.
Nice to see you both. So I thought we could start out before we introduce the first podcast fully is to just maybe give people a little bit of a background about us and like why we decided to do this. And obviously people will mainly know you from behind the camera. So like, this is them. This is what they look like. Like, what was your thinking behind like wanting to like do a Muay Thai podcast?
I feel like we've always kind of talked about doing a podcast for a while, just like media related, but obviously we interview so many fighters, don't we? And we speak to so many people, and like I think people know us from behind the scenes and maybe don't really know us and like what we know, and like I don't know, I feel like it's
I think sometimes we just come across as like random photographers and videographers when actually we're quite in the scene, really, aren't we? And I also think not a lot of people know we're girls because we get called mate a lot and pals, lads,
buddy.
So just for everyone out there, we are female.
But no, I just think that we wanted to, I don't know, branch into the scene a little bit more, get people to know us a little bit more, and also interrogate some people and like
get some goss
because we like it. I mean, it's what we enjoy is like journalism and like the whole media side of things. So I think it's
we've been on the other side of hyping up fights for promoters, and we know kind of what buttons to press and what we can or cannot release and everything. And I think it would be exciting for us to be able to do that for ourselves as well, and kind of like ask our own questions, not just about in particular fights or shows, but actually opinion in the scene right now and general controversy and
I agree. What about you though?
Well, obviously I've done like a Muay Thai podcast previously, and I've always thought about bringing it back, but then like I reached out to you two because like obviously I'm a big fan of like the content that you post and stuff, and we worked together on my last show, and I thought like it was really good working with you. You had some really good ideas, and any ideas I had you were like happy to like support and do it, like the GoPro and the ref, for example. Like, I mean, it didn't really work in practice, but it was the idea was there.
I reckon we could try it again and do it better.
To be fair, the GoPro was to blame. Like it wasn't a very good GoPro.
It wasn't. It was a last minute find of a GoPro, wasn't it? But I reckon we try it again.
I think it was a good idea.
So I just like got in contact with you and thought I'd like to bring back the podcast. I'd like for you two to be a part of it. And originally we talked about, like calling it like Last Round and Kotys, like, and obviously we've been toying around with names for a while, but we finally settled on one. And in terms of like who you would like want to see on the podcast and the type of people that you want to interview, is there anyone that like, or any kind of profile of some person that kind of comes to mind?
I love getting fighters, like stories and stuff, but I love to see the business side of Muay Thai. There's a few individuals that I think are incredibly business minded and know how to sell their gyms and their fights as well. I think they do a really good job at keeping things fresh and staying on top of like the evolution of social media and everything. I think for us, media is such a big thing because it's our jobs, but I think there's a handful of promoters and coaches that I would love to talk about who I think make the most of media really well. So I'm not going to name any names yet, but there is a few I've got on my mind.
And go off the back of that, I think like when you think of MMA and stuff, it's like really like controversial, and there's these big personalities, and it's like all over the press conferences and like all over social media all the time. Anytime there's big fights coming up, and I think like in like journalism ways, like anyone who brings a little bit of controversy and anyone who kind of has big opinions or like is in the limelight, I think in the present time, like I just think anything like that is entertaining. I think we like entertainment, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyone who brings a bit of that, I think.
And I think we're both aware, like from the media side of it, like what does well on social media, like what people want to watch. And I feel like I think like it's going to do really well. I'm looking forward to.
Me too.
It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Right.
All right, wicked. So let's get on with the first episode and our special guest, Josh Hill. Josh, how you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
I was just thinking back before, like obviously we were first on a podcast with you, like I think it was 6 years ago. Like I think it was before you'd even fought Jack Maguire. Like a long time. Like a lot has happened since then.
During COVID. Maybe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I remember thinking at that time, like, you know, I could tell that you was like young and hungry, and like to see in that time, like how much you've done. Like obviously you've won world titles, fought on RWS. Like, I know we're kind of jumping forward, but are you like proud with what's happened over these last few years? Like I feel like you've come like a really long way as a fighter.
Yeah, obviously it was something which sounds silly, but I always expected it, but then didn't expect it at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it was something where if you asked me then, I'd say I was going to do it, but it's still a shock when you get to go and do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I guess we'll work backwards a little bit, because I wanted to start with your fight against Petch Moricott.
Yeah.
Obviously, the guy's an absolute legend, like, simple as that. Like, what was it like, firstly, to, like, share the ring with him?
Brilliant, yeah. Like, you know what? That was probably the most confident I've ever gone into a fight. Like, it sounds mad, but I had nothing to lose. It was just get in there, have fun, and, yeah, obviously the dream was always to fight for a Raja title. I've always said that, like, since I was a kid. My dream was to fight for a Raja title. And probably when I was younger, it was probably much more unrealistic for a foreigner to be fighting for the Raja title. And I think only 2 or 3 English fighters have done it. So, yeah, it was pretty cool, pretty surreal to get to fight Petch.
How did you see the fight, like, afterwards?
Afterwards, I thought, obviously, I got given the first round. Round 2 was close, and I made the adjustments going to round 3. And then round 3, I thought, was my best round. I thought I won that very easily. Not, like, easy as in the actual round, but, like, on the scorecards, I thought I did more than enough. Obviously, I think I had a bit of damage on my face from elbows, but in my head, when I was getting elbowed, my head wasn't moving, but when I kicked him, he'd move. I came back to the corner. Obviously, Kev and Leo were like, 1 more round and you're Raja champ. Like, you've done this. Like, just 1 more round. Gave me all the instructions. And then, with 10 seconds before you go out, the score comes up. And he just went, forget everything we just said. Leo was like, forget everything. He was like, just go body shot him and tire him out. So, yeah, him and Kev were just like, just go with him.
Yeah. And I feel like, not to be like controversial, but like obviously I'm sure you watched his fight with Joe Ryan as well.
Yeah.
And like I just found it crazy how like in a Muay Thai fight, Joe Ryan's going into the final 2 rounds without getting an 8 count, needing a stoppage to win. Like, do you know what I mean? He's lost the first 3, which he didn't arguably do anyway, and then he's literally got to get a stoppage now to win, which is crazy in a Muay Thai fight.
Well, I was in a similar position to Joe.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think we both got given a round, and I think that was quite controversial on both sides. The difference was, obviously, I had a bit more damage on my face, but after round 3, it was, I think I ate more damage trying to be like, right, I need to do something here. And even round 4, I thought I took round 4, and then round 5 when I needed the stoppage, that was probably when I was taking a bit more damage, because it was like, all I was thinking about is I need to knock him out.
Yeah.
And that's when you're not doing anything smart. That's when you're just diving in, when you're just being a bit reckless in the hope of getting the win.
And what do you think of like the round by round scoring? Because I feel like it's quite a divisive thing. Like obviously from like the old school of like Muay Thai scoring, I know like for example like Darren Phillips, like he hates it, and I don't know where Kev stands on it, because he's like more from like the old school like way of scoring. Like where do you stand on it? Because I think it's like, when you see it in the UK in like WBC title fights, a lot of times it ends in like weird like split decision or majority draws and that type of thing.
On RWS, so you can't have 10-10s. So I think it's good and bad. At the end of the day, like, everywhere scores different. No matter where you fight in the world, no matter what shows, most places do score different now. And you've just got to learn to adapt. And I think especially at a high level, and when you're fighting on these big promotions, you've just got to adapt to how they like to score, how they like to do things. So as a fighter, you've got to be quite adaptable. To me, I'm not really bothered as long as I know how they're scoring, what they're looking for. Then, but it's the hard part is when you think that you've done enough and you've done everything right, to then be like, well, what did I do? What do I need to change to get that round? Especially like with RWS, when you're going into like the last round, because obviously it's called the judgment round. So if you're 1-1, then it's all relying on round 3. I think that does make it more entertaining, but at the same time, I do think it can ruin a fight. Say if it is a really close fight, but the scorecards don't represent that, then there's one person who just needs to cruise that last round and one person who needs a stoppage.
And I guess the thing is as well, like historically, you could always kind of like save your points till as late as possible, and you could always go back and score it to make sure the correct person won the fight overall. But it seems like now it's very much like a 10-point must system, round by round basis, which
every round's like a fight, and I found that like you're going out every round to win. Like you go and giving everything you got for that one round, and then you play the next round, where usually in Thai boxing you're trying to
like build throughout the fight.
Yeah, build up, and like you said, the fight's normally scored as a whole. Who finishes the strongest? Obviously, the whole fight is representation of not just what happens in one round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because if you have a 3-round fight, especially if you win the round, but you get a flash knockdown, you can go back, but then win 2 and 3 big. You can change that so that person still wins, but obviously on that, and it's 10-8.
Yeah, it's a draw, basically.
Yeah, it's a draw, yeah. You know what I mean? And obviously 10 seconds doesn't represent a full fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Just off the back of you talking about RWS, obviously you've been on it before. What's your experience with RWS? Like, is that as a fighter like your goal? Do you think that should be people's goals to get onto RWS and one, or like, because obviously a lot of people, I think, like either like climb the rankings in the UK and just kind of stick to that, or like what would you say is important?
For traditional Thai boxing, I think RWS is the elite of the elite. I think for the traditional Thai side, it's where all the best Thais are in normal gloves, where all the best foreigners are going in normal gloves, and I personally really like it. I watch it every week as obviously more of a fan, and to me it's my favourite promotion. It's what I like to watch, and yeah, like I said, obviously I've said the sides which is hard as a fighter, but as a fan side, when I'm watching it week in, week out, it isn't really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
And I do think it does change up that dynamic.
No, I agree, and I'm the same as well. Like, I much prefer watching RWS over one, because I know you've obviously fought on one Friday nights, and I'll touch on that in a second, but I just think Muay Thai and MMA gloves, it's not really Muay Thai, is it? It's basically just boxing. Like, you could have the most technical guy, but they're going to be swinging like hell for leather with the fist, because one punch just completely changes the fight.
It does change the dynamic a lot, especially in the little gloves. Obviously, they do like you to be more aggressive as well, but if you've got people who are good movers, good kickers, it's not suited to little gloves, and they don't want you to be fighting on the back foot, avoiding a big puncher. Obviously, it's entertainment TV, and they want you to stand toe to toe, and obviously that's really good. It's why they have so many viewers.
Yeah.
But it just means it's not for all styles. It's obviously going to be more favoured to the big punchers, and that's why the likes of the Russians and the Eastern Europeans do so well, who come from like boxing backgrounds, compared to the better kickers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you said something really important there, because not everyone is suited to one championship. Like, you see a lot of like kind of 19, 20-year-olds who are coming up in like Muay Thai now, like they've kind of had a rise now, they're in the rankings and stuff, and their like goal is to get into one, but it's like, you don't want to be fighting in MMA gloves from like 20 years old. Like, that has not got a long shelf life, do you know what I mean?
No, it does shorten your career. Obviously, I think the better thing to do is obviously when you're at that top, if that's what you want to do. But I don't think going in early, because at the end of the day, you need that ring time, you need that experience, and your ring time's going to be shortened if you're learning in MMA gloves.
Yeah.
Because a lesson learnt in an MMA glove could completely like shorten your career, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, you fought like top Thais, you fought like the best in the UK. Like, is there anyone out there who you still feel like is a name that you want to fight?
I've got a fight in 5 weeks, which is probably one of the like biggest names or most dangerous fighters who I will fight. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think I can say that yet.
Well, this podcast will be out in about 2-3 weeks, so you probably can.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, it should be out by then. So I'm fighting Dmitry Meshnikov, who has knocked out Sinsamut, knocked out Rungrawi, beat UFC top 5 Carlos Prates before he went into one. Obviously, his only loss on one was for the belt, and then he won his next 4 by knockout. So I'm excited for that one. Obviously, I think that is, for me, I like looking at fighters and thinking, fuck, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
Why not? And yeah, so I'm excited for that.
So let's touch on Enigma then. Obviously, the poster there's for your June show. Like, firstly, how did the idea to like start doing your own shows come about?
Pretty much, I was doing my master's degree, and I just like to stay busy, to be honest. And I said like one day to Kev about like, oh, it'd be cool to do one. And to be fair, when I was younger, Kev said like when like Liam and Andy used to fight. Obviously, I was a kid when Liam and Andy used to fight, and they started promoting. They were like, when you get older, like that could be something you go down. And he was like, and I can give you fighters and stuff. And then as I got a bit older, he was like, why don't you do your own show? And then I was fighting in Australia. I handed my last assignment in a couple of days before. I was flying to Oz on the Wednesday. On the Tuesday, I went and checked out my first venue, booked it that day, and yeah, it was just.
It's a good feeling, isn't it? Like when your venue's booked for the first time. Like,
yeah,
it's like.
Because the first venue I booked was when the official K1 Max came to the UK. They did it at Parr Hall in Warrington, and that was the first venue I booked.
Right.
And then, yeah, they just went from there.
Did you see like a kind of like gap in the market, or like something that you thought you could bring to the table differently? Because obviously there's like so many shows, but you've managed to stand out like off the rip, really.
To be honest, I just wanted to put fights on I wanted to see. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
nothing like it wasn't like I want to compete with anyone. I don't want to compete with anyone. Like at the end of the day, I want to put fights on I want to see. And if another promoter beats me to it, I'm not going to be like, oh, like, it's not my show. I'm
Yeah.
sound. I'm going to be getting the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if there's a fight I want to see and no one else offered it, I'll offer it. If someone else has got it, brilliant. It means the fight's happening no matter what. For me, there's no competition. I'm not doing this to compete with anyone. I'm just doing it for just a bit of fun. Like the first Enigma I did it on notes on my phone.
Yeah, I
Like,
do that as well.
Yeah, I did the whole I did the whole thing on notes on my phone, and it was just for a laugh. You know what I mean? And if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. And
Yeah.
luckily, it went well.
But that is something unique and different though, because you're putting on fights that you want to see yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and maybe that's why like you do have such good fights on your show, because obviously you're a fan of the sport. You're a student of it, and you know good fights. So yeah.
I am very. I do look a lot at every fighter on even end class level. Like I'll buy every pay-per-view and I watch every single fighter who's fighting on the show. And to be honest, there's probably been fighters who sell good tickets, and I won't put them on because it's not what I want to see, or it might not make a good fight. And I make sure I watch everyone. If there's a fight where I think there's only one side who will definitely win, I won't put the fight on.
Yeah.
Like it's not something I want. I don't want to see. The first show I ever did, I think there was one knockout or one stoppage, and I think it was in one of the like A-class fights. And for me, I don't want to see any stoppages.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Actually, no, I don't think there was any. I think it was the second one where there was one stoppage. The first one, I don't think there was one stoppage, and for me, that was a big achievement. Like everyone wants to see knockouts and things like that, but I don't want to see lads do a fight in N class, C class, getting knocked out. If the B class and A class do,
Yeah.
it happens. You know what I mean? It's at the higher level. It's going to happen, but I don't want to see the lower level lads get knocked out. I want 50-50 fights, and if I believe that it's more favoured to someone else, I probably won't put the fight on.
Yeah.
Not to sound like ageist at all, but you are, as like a media like team, you are the youngest promoter that we've actually worked with. But I think that like helps massively with like knowing what people of like our generations want to see now, I guess, and like up and coming fighters and things, and like all the media that you run on it and stuff. I think, like, do you think that has? I feel like you probably got like a fresh view when it comes to like
100%.
Muay Thai now. Do you think that helps? Because I think like Enigma's just feels like a different show compared to a lot of them that we go to.
Yeah.
To be honest, my whole thing was if I wouldn't want to fight on it, I'm not doing it type thing. So it was like I learnt from so many different shows, and obviously when I booked it, I went out. I was flying to Australia. That was Fight and Rebellion, and I remember just watching, thinking, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Obviously, I'd fought on RWS, I'd fought on one. I'd fought on all different shows, and it was like, right, what can I take from each thing?
Yeah.
And obviously, RWS is brilliant at the advertising side, and obviously, it's never gonna it's not a one, it's not an RWS, but you can learn something off every promoter, or even promotions that I fought in the UK. I've always learned something from them, and it's like, right, I'm going to implement that into Enigma. I'm going to do this. And like I said, it's how would I want to be treated as a fighter?
Yeah.
You don't want to be undervalued. You want to be treated as if you're the most important person. Whether you're an N-class fighter to an A-class fighter, you want to feel the most important, valued person on the card. And I try and do that for every fighter. So
Yeah.
obviously, like with the girls and stuff, having all the highlights and stuff like that after you fight, there's no better feeling, especially when you've had your first few fights.
Yeah.
And you're getting things like that to keep hold of. And
No, I'm literally the exact same. Like, I came into promoting with the sole purpose of making sure that the fighters feel looked after, and also like promoting, like you say, N-class fighters as if they were A-class fighters as much as possible. So, and I think, like, obviously you know that I would, like, you see me at shows all the time. I used to like promote other people's shows for them, and then I just thought, like,
we used to speak all the time
Yeah, that's
about
what I'm
matches
saying.
to help each other.
Yeah,
We'd
yeah,
have
yeah.
a show within a couple of weeks. It'd be like, you help me, I help you. And I think that's the way it should be. Like I said, I'm not trying to compete with anyone. It's if I have a fighter that needs matching who I've been given, but I don't have anyone for them, but you need them, Matt.
Yeah,
Of course, I'll
yeah.
help you out, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's got like, because obviously, like, say I'd see you at like Yak House shows or whatever, or I'd see you at like Kev shows, and like I'd always be like doing interviews for like other people's shows and stuff, and then I just started thinking, well, why don't I just like all this media stuff that I'm doing to promote other people's shows,
For yourself.
do it for myself? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's like kind of the origins of how it came about, really. And also, like you said as well, like doing co-promoting with Anton, who is a fighter, he would come from it from the exact perspective that you're coming from. Like, what did MTGP do that we can do? Like, so say for example, MTGP used to give people food at the weigh-ins, so we give people food at the weigh-ins, and like you get to keep your shorts, and like it seemed like a little thing, but a lot of shows you don't even get to keep your shorts. You know what I mean?
No, and I've got to the point now, obviously I work with Endangered, who's been absolutely amazing and been a big part of the show, and he kit the whole card out, and I've got every single fighter walking away with a new pair of shorts. Obviously it looks really good having every fighter in Endangered gear as well, but it's having fighters treated different. Like the main card, obviously the A and the B class are all getting custom t-shirts where they have the name on the back, and then if you order some for your corner team or your supporters, they'll even put your logos on.
That's nice.
So if you like put an order in with them, they'll put all your logos on the back of your t-shirts. Obviously we want everyone walking out in our t-shirts, but we'll still put your sponsors on the back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's proper, that.
and I think that separates what Endangered do for our show and obviously what our show does.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe just a question for both of you then, because obviously you both are promoters. Maybe some like realities of promoting, or things that like fans don't see or fighters don't know. Is there any like things that you find difficult or that like cause issues?
I guess probably like what I find difficult compared to what Josh will find difficult is quite different in a sense, because I've not got like a home base of a gym. Like I've got a match always like both sides of the card, whereas pretty much every other show in the UK they'll at least have like a home base of a gym or something, whereas like I'm running down like 2 different coaches for each single fight that I do, and like that does get like very stressful, just like running coaches down for lists, and like it's just like sometimes that's why I didn't do one for like a year and a half, because I was just honestly fed up of running people down all the time.
For me, it's obviously, it isn't, obviously I am part of Majestic, but I wanted to keep it away from being a Majestic show.
Yeah.
And originally I didn't want like many on. Obviously if there's a fight I want to see, and obviously we're very lucky at the gym, we've got some good
top
fighters,
fighters,
some good A-class fighters, so I do use them. But for me, I want to keep it as, I want to do things for other gyms. I want to make it so it's not about, oh, that person's favoured. I want to help everyone out. And my thing is people who support me the most, I always make sure on the next show they'll get something, or like I can help build a fighter up. I really like it when someone wants to work with Enigma, when someone wants the fighters on Enigma.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, you supported me.
Yeah.
Because obviously I don't do the matchmaking for Majestic, I'm not part of that, so I can't return the favour in that sense, but I like to return the favour in other senses through the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the same, because like sometimes coaches will say to me like, "Oh, well, you can't really do anything for my show, so I'm not going to put anyone on your show." And it's like, that's a bit of a weird way to think about it. Like, what did Yakao do for your show? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's a better in a sense because you're impartial, and it means that you're more likely to help someone out if they're supporting you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that does help. And
is there any negatives that you guys, going back to what she was saying, do you think there's like any like tough things or any negatives that like you have on your kind of day-to-day of like running the show?
Well, I was just about to ask, obviously you've got 2 shows really coming up now, the one with CFS and obviously Fight Series 5. We're also well aware that you're about to be a dad very soon.
Congratulations.
Which is congratulations to you and Laura, but obviously we know Laura helps you out a lot with on show days and stuff as well, so how is life going to be now that you're going to be 3 instead of 2 and the added stress of...
Well, I'm hoping when he's older he can help me, you know what I mean? I'm going to train him up. He can chase the list, can't he?
I know, yeah.
But no, for me it's obviously it was also one of the reasons obviously I wanted to get into it. It's also one of the reasons Laura started Ignite. It was so we could work from home. It was so we're not both, obviously she worked on the gym floor, I worked obviously holding pads, and it is so we're just both not out of the house all the time. It's so we can work from home. It's so we can obviously support our family, but be there more for our kids, you know what I mean? And obviously it was something which we was looking at anyway, and so I feel like it's all worked out well, and I feel like it is a bit difficult because it's going to be like show 4 weeks later the baby, 4 weeks later another show, but at the same time it means my full priority for that time will be spending time with Laura, spending time with the baby, and not thinking about being out the house all day every day trying to work, you know what I mean? Which
so exciting.
It is exciting.
Which for someone self-employed, obviously you just can't take numerous months off, but if we can make it work in that sense, which I think we've done a alright job at, it does work, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of touched on it a little bit there, like obviously saying that Laura helps out on like the day of the show. What are you like on the day of the show generally? Like, are you quite chilled? Are you like running about like a madman? Can you sit and watch fights?
No, because normally we have fighters on. Normally we have fighters on, so like I'll be honest, I watched the first show, but after that I was just in the back for all the others, so I'll match, like the last one was gutting. Like when I matched that main card, I was so excited for it, and then obviously we had Emily on it, Ryan on it, Leonie, all within that road to Rebellion, and it was like, oh no, I can't watch the other ones. Obviously I wanted to watch Jake on it, I wanted to watch Rudy versus Joe Dean, so I was good, I couldn't watch that, but at the same time I was glad to put them fights on, and so I think I'm quite, once it starts I'm relaxed, but I'm quite a perfectionist, and I like things done perfectly, and I don't like getting anything wrong, so like if I made like a minor error it would like ruin the whole day for me type thing, so it's like I want to make sure everything's perfect on the day.
Was there anything that went wrong last time that like you know for next time, like I definitely don't want that to happen again?
No, nothing. Like each time, to be honest, I think I try and improve on it every single show, like even like little things of like adding beer onto the tables, obviously the full area's barriered, getting the monitor so you can see like replays of the knockouts and things like that. Like every show I feel like I try and invest more and more into the show, and like I said, it's not just about the better Enigma does, I don't want it to be just beneficial to me, I want it to be beneficial for the fighters. What can I give back more, you know what I mean? Can I get like better fighters on the card? Can I improve the layout of the show and the setup? I don't want it to just be like, this is for me. I don't like, it's not a money spinner for me. It's about making the best platform possible for the fighters, and anything else will come. If you make something successful enough, it'll do well, you know what I mean? And for me, it's just about it being the best platform possible for the fighters, and as long as they enjoy it, that's what matters.
Yeah, and I think it's always good as well when like a coach will message you first saying, when's your next show, I want to get my lads on. That's always like a nice boost, because it makes you think, you know, you're doing something right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of like Muay Thai politics, obviously, like, on the last show, you had, like, Jake and Miles who were, like, betting on each other's fights and stuff, and all the gyms were, like, being involved and stuff. And, like, as, like, not only, like, a coach and a fighter and a promoter and stuff, like, do you think that stuff, like, helps? Like, do you enjoy that kind of stuff? Do you like people, I don't know, having a bit of,
like the hype beforehand?
To be fair, there was no, like, actual animosity between them two. Like, I think, like...
Yeah, there wasn't.
Like, obviously, they both just really backed themselves, and I think that's what... I didn't mind that. Like, I think if two people were really, like, being aggressive and, like, offensive to each other online, I'd be like, right, knock it in, lads. Like, for me, that's not me, and that's not something I want to promote. I know people see, like, build-ups like that in a different way, and so, like, some promoters like that, but for me, it's... Them two were, like, laughing and joking, and when they started off, there was nothing but respect there between them both. They just really both betted on themselves, and they both believed they were going to win. But as a fighter, shouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%
You know what I mean?
you should, yeah. And yeah, I'm kind of the same, really. Like, when I see people going back and forth before the show and that, like, I don't know, when I was just doing content, I thought, oh yeah, this is really good. But when it's my show, I'm thinking, I don't really like this.
It's not who I am as a fighter. Like, for me, I like getting I like being relaxed. I don't know, I find it easier fighting people who I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for me, I don't want to get in there. Like, I've had 70 odd fights. I can't be arsed hating 70 people. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to get in there and just have a laugh and go home and chill my dog. I don't want to. Don't do it. Don't want to be feeling better towards someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's funny because, like, we were saying before we did the podcast, like, when us as, like, a media team, we go and we kind of, like, amping up the, like, drama a little bit, and we like to get people
we have to
like,
kind of
create a little
persuade
bit
people
of, like,
a little
drama.
bit.
Yeah.
Obviously it does well for the media, and obviously you've invested so much in your media for the shows
Yeah.
and stuff, and it does help.
It's
I think
harmless, I think,
it is
as well.
harmless.
Yeah, I think it's the harmless, like, the harmless backing of yourself, which is good. Like we said about, like, Miles and Jake, like, it was entertaining, the build up, but it weren't like, they weren't being offensive to each other. They
No,
were
it
just
wasn't.
backing
It wasn't
themselves.
aggressive. It was more. It just hyped up the
Yeah,
show.
there's nothing
and the
wrong with
fight
backing
and...
yourself, and, like, I want to hear, especially, like, with the media stuff, I want to hear why you think you're gonna win. What sets you apart. But I don't want to hear you, like, slating your opponent, calling them names, or like throwing mum jokes out. You know what I mean?
And at the same time, though, you don't want to hear on the media them saying, like, "Oh, I don't know nothing about my opponents." Oh, yeah, nice one, mate. Just drove all this way for nothing.
We get
Thank
that
you.
a lot. But then we get that. I'm not even naming names. But
Name 'em.
we've had a few that say, I don't know anything about my opponent. Don't look into it.
I'm probably like one of them.
And then we sit there and we go, right, okay, well, if you had to think of something, and then suddenly starts to go, well, I did watch this and I did watch that and I have seen them do this, and I think you're lying. You do know about your opponent, you just don't want to say. But it does help a lot when they are honest.
Yeah. Do you ever look into your opponents? Is that something that...
Yeah, I think, to me, I like the hardest possible fights. Like, the harder the fight, the more excited I get. You know what I mean? Like, the more dangerous someone is, the more excited I get. Like, I don't want to just fight someone and think, like, oh, this is gonna be an easy fight. Like, I want to think, fuck, this guy could knock me out.
Yeah, but
that excites me. You know what I mean?
I remember even interviewing you, like, 6 years ago, and you were always looking at, like, the people at the top of the rankings and, like, people above you. You weren't just, like, looking for easy fights ever.
No. But I've never done that, like, ever since, like, I started fighting as a junior. Obviously, I only had 5 junior fights, and, like, my first junior fight was George Jarvis, my second junior fight was Stabler, and like, it just went on like that. And then I think Kev hated me because he never gave me an easy fight since then, and it just went on so that. And obviously I turned A class pretty young, and, like, took the shin guards off young, so it was I always had to take big steps up, and yeah, it was just, but that's just always the attitude I've had. It's always the attitude Kev's had. Kev don't want to see us in easy fights. Kev wants to challenge us, and
Nice, good.
if there's a big, like, tough fight, Kev wants to put us in that position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. Just to touch on, obviously we've got the poster there for your June show, but you've got one coming up in April alongside CFS at Bolton Stadium.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Like, you fought at Bolton Stadium yourself. Like, you must be excited to be doing a show there yourself.
Honestly, I was so excited for it, and obviously, like, it all came around quite flippant. Like, Rory said he had, like, 12 shows coming up, and I was just like, all right, are you doing any up north? And he just put back, do you want to? Next day, booked the venue.
That's
And
wicked.
that was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That was it. And obviously now we've put a card together, and for me it was just fights I wanted to see. And you know what, like, I feel domestic Muay Thai now I feel like there was a time where people wanted more foreigners and
Yeah.
they don't want to take them domestic challenges. And I feel like that's changed, especially for this show. I found everyone's being really, like, Jeff Downs asked me for domestic matches only for Louis Ferris, like getting like the best fighters from the UK.
That's really cool.
And I really like that.
Yeah.
The gamest of the girls. Like, you could offer the girls the hardest domestic fights and they're all game as anything, you know what I mean? It's, yeah, they all want to fight, they all want to be number one. But yeah, like I said, like Jodie and Liam Griffin, both fully game for the fight. Same Lou Ferris, Alex Kenton, obviously Tommy Lowe, Liam Cunningham, got Yasmin Naziri, Ellie Harbour, Mia versus Leonie, like Alice on versus Jane Ice's UK number 2.
Yeah.
And it's every single one of them fighters is UK ranked. Like, depending how the fights go, it could be a big shake up to the UK rankings all on one card.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's interesting.
And do you think that you'll like carry on doing shows there yourself, or do you think this is like a one-off with alongside Rory?
To be honest, even if I went there myself, I'd like to still work with Rory. I think we've worked really well together. Obviously, the show's still yet to come, but he's been an absolute pleasure to work with. I feel like, obviously, he has the connections of down south and then up north, and I think we've put together a good few north versus south fights. Obviously, some good north versus north.
Yeah.
And not just that, it spreads the work, and usually it's always just me by myself. Obviously, Laura does help with some of the bits, but it's usually a lot of the work is by myself, so it's nice having that work spread and us being able to put, obviously Rory's one of the best promoters in the country, he's one of the most experienced promoters in the country.
Most consistent as well.
Yeah.
So just to wrap up, we're going to go over to Becca and Phoebe. They're going to fire over some quick fire questions at you, so good luck.
Okay. Favourite Muay Thai weapon: elbows, knees, kicks or punches?
Elbow.
Southpaw or orthodox?
Oh, off a paw.
Do you prefer a big stadium atmosphere or a small show crowd?
Oh, I'll go big.
RWS or One Championship?
I'll go RWS.
Bangkok or Phuket?
To train or?
In general?
In general.
Oh, definitely Phuket.
Training in Thailand or the UK?
UK.
Favourite cheat meal?
Oh. I will need 1 to 2 minutes for this one.
Or favourite food? It's not.
Favourite pasta?
What kinds of music do you listen to in fight camp?
I'm a big Swiftie.
Oh my god.
I love that. Fighting for a title or for a rank?
Opponent matters more than belt.
Who would you like to see next on this podcast?
Oh.
Anyone in the world.
Can be anyone.
Hypothetically, doesn't mean we're going to get them on.
Also, man's actually doable, you know. Either or. Give us some ideas.
Oh, I don't know, you know. This really isn't quick fire, is it?
We didn't expect really quick fire from you, to be fair, Josh. Did we?
That's sound. You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Kev on it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind seeing Kev on
I
it.
think it'd be interesting to like talk to him about the way the scoring is now and stuff, because obviously when we did one with him like 6 years ago, like it was very much about the scoring, and obviously it's changed so much now that it'd be interesting to like get his take on like the current scene and
he's
stuff.
had a lot of fighters all in different like places, obviously with Leone, Dan. Obviously didn't go Leone's way last week, and obviously he's had it with me, Dan, and yeah, it'll be interesting to hear his take of things.
Wicked. Well,
One
Lastly.
last question.
Go on.
What fight are you looking forward to the most that's up and coming?
What, on Enigma or
Anything.
any fight? Tague versus Finley, I think. Teig versus Finley.
That
I
is a
think I'll
sick
go
fight,
for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Teig is like, I think he's like a different class, man. Like, I think he's guaranteed to be like world champion in one or
I just don't think
RWS.
you can
Like,
ever write Finley out, but I also don't think you can ever write Teig out. So it's like, for me, it'll be interesting to know each one's game plan. You know what I mean? How they go fight it. And obviously, you're not going to know until the night. So
yeah.
that for me is really interesting. I think game plans win fights sometimes, and how you decide to take a fight. And I think Teig has made quite easy work of everyone he's fought, but Finley, despite his young age, is a proper veteran. He's fought since a very young kid.
Yeah.
Fought in every world championships around the world. Fought in Thailand since a young lad. Like, he's a very experienced lad. So I think it'll be Teig's hardest fight, but it's probably going to be one of Finley's hardest fights as well. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's a wicked fight. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Nice to do a podcast with you for the second time.
Cheers.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you soon.